This is Sujith Billa. I'm a registered migration agent here in Australia. This video is about the Australian Citizenship Bill, which hasn't been passed yet. That's breaking news. So it's not still in effect. Please don't be confused by the sloppy journalists who were successful in taking this message that Australia's citizenship law has been changed already. Well, that's not the case. The Australian Citizenship Bill was introduced in the Parliament by the Minister for Immigration and Border Protection, Mr. Peter Dutton, recently. And today, the Labour Party, after having their caucus meeting, the caucus meeting usually they take big decisions. And today they said that the Labour Party opposes the Citizenship Bill in its letter and spirit. The opposition business manager, Mr. Tony Burke, who is also a member of Parliament for the seat of Watson, he said the Labour Party doesn't buy this argument that the Citizenship Bill is intended in the interest of the national security. Mr. Burke's argument is that the government's statement on national security isn't true and there's no input from the security agencies such as ACO on Australian citizenship laws. So it's just lying about national security. That's what the opposition party had to say. The opposition party didn't support the competence scores being one of the eligibility criteria because they believe that native Australians, even the native Australians, can't pass this test and get a competent English test score. Many of them cannot. And the fact that the proposed laws require 4 years of permanent residency is another thing that Labour Party doesn't agree with. It thinks that for the permanent residents, obviously the intending migrants would satisfy the eligibility criteria. And why do they have to wait for another 4 years to get to citizenship? They were a bit silent on the new citizenship test, but they were more opposed to the competence scores and the 4 years of permanent residency as eligibility criteria for the citizenship. After this, they went to the Parliament and the Immigration Minister bluntly said that the government is not going to back down on this. This is what Peter Dutton had to say.
We have said, Mr. Speaker, that we want people to be able to speak a competent level of English language, and we want that to improve over a course of 4 years so that people can contribute more, not just in the workplace, but so that they can do better at school, so that they can integrate more effectively into Australian society. That is the agenda of this government, and we are not going to back down, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we've also announced a number of other measures, including increasing the period of permanent residency in the run-up to citizenship from 1 year to 4 years. In Germany, it is 8 years. In the United States and the United Kingdom, it is 4 and 5 years. And the fact is, Mr. Speaker, over the course of that 4 years, people can have the ability to demonstrate that they have integrated into Australian society, that they have abided by the laws and the values of this country, and they can become Australian citizens. Now, it is the case that the Labor Party is divided on this, as they are on border protection. You know, I've watched this movie before, Mr. Speaker.
It's interesting to see when Peter Dutton was speaking and trying to put pressure on the Labour Party to oppose the bill and trying to persuade them, the Labour Party didn't react at all. And it was the same thing when Turnbull did. The same thing to Labour Party when he was trying to pull their leg into this citizenship bill. They didn't react. So it is interesting to see what happens in the Senate when the bill will be introduced. The 45th Australian Parliament, the government has majority in the House of Representatives but doesn't have a majority in the Senate. Obviously, for this kind of a citizenship bill, Pauline Hanson from the One Nation Party would support the bill. That's a logical thing. But if the Labour Party wants to block this bill, it should obviously concentrate on the Senate rather than the House of Representatives, unless former Prime Minister Tony Abbott and somebody else with him want to oppose the bill. So in the Senate, if the Labour Party has to block this bill and see that the bill is not passed, what it has to do is to get support from the Greens Party, who have 9 senators, and from the Nick Xenophon team, NXT. Nick Xenophon himself is a senator, and he has 2 more senators in his party in the Senate, and he has got 1 MP in the House of Reps. Darren Hinch, who was the former radio person, he said there would be a leak about Pauline Hanson today. So, assuming that he's against Pauline Hanson, if Pauline Hanson votes for the citizenship bill, will Darren Hinch vote against it? And we have a senator called Lucy from the Family First Party. She's from Kenya and then later became an Australian citizen. So it's interesting to see if she will vote against this citizenship bill. So if the Labour Party with 26 senators can get the support of Greens with 9 senators and 3 senators from Nick Xenophon team, that will be 38. The total seats in the Senate is 76. So they'll reach the halfway, and that would eventually block the bill, I believe. So a frequently asked question on my YouTube channel is, what if I have applied Australian citizenship today when the drama is still going on? Okay, firstly, understand that the drama is still going on. Okay, don't go by media stories that the new rules are in effect. The new rules are not in effect. Let's say you have applied the citizenship just after Peter Dutton and Turnbull talked about the new proposed citizenship laws in April. So you have done that a day after they did this. Now what happens to your application? And what happens to an application made while I'm speaking to you on this day, the 21st of June 2017? So these 2 applications will not be looked at till the Parliament story is fixed. Because the Parliament hasn't approved the bill yet, it's not a law. So all the applications made after April will not be looked at till this saga finishes. Now, the big thing, if your permanent residence visa is expiring today or next week, let's say, and you haven't applied for the citizenship, or even if you applied, obviously, as I said, it will not be looked at. So your permanent residence visa expires and you want to travel overseas. So you need a resident written visa. Okay? Please do not hesitate to contact me if you need a resident written visa. Don't go with media stories, especially the foreign media, who doesn't understand the Australian politics, let alone not understanding the Australian migration law. Always be positive. This is an immigration nation. Nobody can change it. People from all over the world have come here and took this nation forward, are still taking this nation forward. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel Sujith Talks for more pristine information on Australian immigration. If you need immigration advice, please do not hesitate to contact me, as I am a registered migration agent here in the most livable city on earth, Melbourne.